Welcome to the Too Much to Say podcast, where we have too much to say. Episode 18.5, This Week in Sports and Esports, August 4th, 2018. We're going to be breaking down this week's Summer Skirmish Fortnite action and also some of the best hits from the NFL and NBA. Not much is happening right now. We're kind of in the lull. We got Major League Baseball, but it just doesn't feel that relevant. And the NBA's off. NFL's starting to kick into gear. I don't know. It's kind of the lull in sports. But thank heavens we still have our Fortnite action. We're going to maybe we'll do a little League of Legends next week. That sort of thing. Maybe League, maybe CSGO. We'll see. If you like another one, we're definitely gonna do Fortnite. But if it's kind of the one I spend the most time following these days. But caught a little bit of that Echo Fox game from the from League today as well. That was good stuff. But if there's another, maybe take a poll or something. If there's another esport you guys like a lot, we'll cover that one as well. But there's so many, it's hard to cover them all, especially since they all happen at the same time. It's hard to watch and analyze and break down the action. But first thing, we're gonna just kind of, like I said, kind of do the big hits from this week. First, start off with the basketball tournament, the amateur tournament that just ended. As we talked about last week with my boy Jimmer, we got kind of bad news this week because they lost. They ended up losing in the round of 4. Where's my Jimmer? There's my Jimmer. But despite all that, Jimmer had a fantastic tournament. He ended up closing the tournament out, shooting 53% from the field, averaging 31 points a game, 5 assists and 5 rebounds. Just didn't take enough shots. Only got 15 off this past game, and they ended up losing by 4. A big congrats to Team Overseas Elite, though. I think that's their fourth win in a row. So big congrats to them. But I was sad to see my boy Jimmer fall out. Not much else to say about that. Hopefully he'll get his shot back in the NBA. As for the NBA, let me swap things up a little bit here. As for the NBA, we like I said, there's no actual action right now. But what is happening is that our boy Donald Trump decided to wade into the NBA this weekend by trying to cut down. Let me bring up that. Trying to cut down the best player in the world, LeBron James, shooting out this lovely tweet. LeBron was just interviewed by the dumbest man on television, Don Lemon. He made LeBron look smart, which isn't easy to do. I like Mike. Well, first off, if you don't know who Don Lemon is, which I didn't until I watched the interview, he's another black, TV personality, journalist, and of course LeBron James is black. So this, I know Trump isn't known for subtlety or tact or anything like that, but he kept it. If you're not trying to come off racist, then don't call LeBron James, who's famous for being an incredibly intelligent basketball player, stupid, and the guy interviewing who's also black, stupid. And then trying to make this not seem political, he just throws in "I like Mike." Well, Donald, nobody likes you or this tweet because even Michael Jordan clapped back at you today and supported LeBron James. LeBron James is on freaking TV supporting this school he just came out with. And yeah, he defended himself a little bit against Trump. But bro, like, the dude opened up a brand new school to take care of kids. And you're sitting here trying to, like, bring him down. Trump, you put people in cages, he's putting kids in school. He opens a school to help the disadvantaged. You open a school to make money. Like, you ain't got nothing, bro. Like, it just don't. Just don't. We'll cover this more. This was the biggest NBA story of the week, though. So I wanted to hit it here. We might cover it again on Tuesday night when we go, politics and that sort of thing. But just Trump, come on, man. What are you doing? All right. Now on to the NFL, or close to the NFL anyway. We're going to start off. Johnny Manziel managed to get himself a starting job this week for the Montreal Alouettes, which if you haven't heard of them, then you probably don't follow CFL because they're just a CFL team. But things did not go well for our boy here. Now, I'm not a huge Manziel fan, period, but I do like a redemption story, and I don't know if I think he's that contrite. He seems pretty arrogant still, but he is back and he's throwing footballs. But man, it was a it was a rough start. He ended up throwing 4 interceptions in the CFL. His first pass was intercepted. His second, that was his first interception. His second interception, I didn't really went back and watched. It didn't look like it was his fault. His teammate kind of bobbled it, and then it went to the other dude's arm. It was a missed pass, missed catch by his receiver. But then the third and fourth interceptions are just both short. Just oh, sorry about that. Coming down with something, but it was rough. It was not a good look for our boy starting off on in his first start in 3 years or something like that. When you get cut from the Cleveland Browns, you probably aren't a good football player. And I know he got cut because he can't control himself, but still, it was rough. The other big news coming out of the NFL this week was that Andrew Luck is back at it throwing passes. Actual footballs this time. And that's good news for everybody, in my opinion. I mean, I guess if you're in his division, you're probably not that happy, but I'm here for the good football. I'm here for the best quarterbacks, best players, so hopefully he can stay healthy this whole season. Obviously, it makes the Colts relevant if he is, and most likely not relevant if he isn't. That's football, man. Honestly, it's why I think football. I'm not that it's gonna fail this year. I think but you just go listen to my rant. I think it's at episode 13.5 or something like that. I talk about the state of the NFL. Just basically just kind of the issues the NFL is going to run into coming up. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm happy to have him back. Hopefully he can stay healthy. That's right. Go Braves indeed. Go Braves. But now, like I said, this week's not it's not much is happening in the world right now. Not from the world of sports. We got a little bit of a blip, but thank heavens we have Fortnite. The good folks of Epic are giving us this. We are in week 4 of the Summer Skirmish. And this week we had a little bit, every week we get a different format. This week they introduced the Hold the Throne format. It was a solos tournament where everybody, basically the first player to get 8 points wins the tournament. Now, if it's a tie, then we go into there's some tiebreakers based on wins. If everything is equal, then they just keep playing games until somebody gets separated from the other person. But the way we get points is a victory royale. So a win's worth 2 points. Second and third place are each worth a point. Four or more eliminations is worth 1 point. And if you hold the throne, meaning you have the most eliminations in a single match, then you get 1 point. And at the end of the tournament, you get an additional $50,000. That's why they called this the Hold the Throne format. But they again did the 2 nights, and we had let's go into we'll hop into week 1, and we'll talk a little bit. We'll talk about it. It was obviously always great content, always a great tournament. I think what Epic is doing with trying to basically do 8 weeks. I mean, spend 8. I think it's 8 weeks. I know it's $8 million. Trying to drop $8 million into the competitive scene of Fortnite and over this whole year, $100 million. I think is fantastic. I think we all win. I mean, they win because at the end of the day, they're just going to make more money. But this week we had it looks like, I think one of the hardest parts with this Fortnite competitive scene, and something we're going to see today in these rankings and the standings that came out, is I think they've made it pretty hard to kind of follow everybody. Not everybody in the tournament is a streamer. Not everybody is well known, and they are not doing anything to kind of bring all these tournaments together. They're individual. Everybody, first place gets their $60,000 prize, and the next week they can get absolutely nothing. And at the end of the 8 weeks, at the end of the Summer Skirmish, I don't think we're going to have a joint winner. We're not keeping track. I think primarily what Epic is trying to do is basically learn how to run tournaments, learn how to make Fortnite into an esport. And I mean, I support them in that, but it has just been a little rough sledding getting there. So we're going to go look a little bit into the standings and look at the rankings as well. Put together some rankings based on the last 4 weeks of the Summer Skirmish, rewarding players based on where they finish in the top 20. But we'll take a look at that right after we get through these. It was another great week. This week we had Nick Merckx on the mic, and I mean, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of their announcers. I like having the pro. I mean, each pro is going to have their own different style. Each pro is going to be a little bit better, a little bit worse. Really liked Courage last week. I think he helped make up for some of the discrepancies. I don't even know the guy's name. The one who's always there. Like, they don't even, they're not putting up little name badges underneath the announcers, letting us know who they are. If anybody in the chat knows who they are, I have no idea who he is. But I just don't think he's that good. Like, it just doesn't seem like he knows Fortnite. And I think that their production team still struggling to work it all together. They finally one positive. They finally got in score tracking during the in the intermissions, which was excellent. But they still don't have any way for anyone in game to be able to see how many kills they have. They still don't have any way of showing who's left, who's dead. I really think that if Fortnite is going to be, I mean, obviously successful, but if it's going to have some legs, we really have to get some of these things implemented. I mean, obviously it's going to take some time, but I don't know. I just hope it's on the radar. I mean, I don't know if they're listening to the pod or anything like that, but they need a little bit. They need make a couple few changes. Anyway, so this week we had Not Vivid pulling out the dub, and he may not even know who Not Vivid it is, but he actually won the first week with his partner Kevin, who has not won anything ever since. So not Vivid is not a not unfamiliar to the winner's circle, but we had some of our other big names come through as well. Tifu coming in 7th, Zate from Energy coming in 8th, and a bunch of guys who are new. Strafe not new, Poach coming in 2nd. I'll be honest, I'm not loving these solos tournaments as much. I really, so far, I'd have to say if I had to choose, it's duos, and I'd love to see what we can do. We need the squads. We're in week 4? We had 2 solos, 2 duos. When are we doing squads? Like 4? Like I just think that would be just awesome. I guess they like kind of the talent pool they're pulling from. It might be a little bit more different, a little more difficult for them. And also, they're not doing the way you get into the Summer Skirmish, other than invitation, is by the Solo Showdown, which is a solos tournament. It's a lot easier to get, one person to join you to make a duo than it is to, make a whole team. I'm pretty sure we can make it work though. We can make this work. We can get some squads. Because there's no communication. It was especially you just when the commentators they zoom in on somebody and they're just sitting there dead focused, because that's what you do when you're trying to win a game. You concentrate. So I'd love to see him go back to duos, and I'd love to see some squads. I think that I was even just before the stream I was watching 72 Hours and Chap, who are like ridiculously good. But they're playing duos and they're sitting there talking back and forth, talking about what they see. Like, based on the way they're doing this and the fact that we're not. Like, if you ever watch League of Legends, you don't hear any of the communications that are happening in game. But Fortnite offers that to you. And it just makes the whole thing better. And also, like, I know this tournament, if you get 4 kills, you get 8. You get a point. I just don't know why we can't have more points for kills. Why can't we have, again, 1 point per kill, and 3 points for a win, 2 points for second, 1 point for third. 3 points for winning is still huge, but like, kills should just be awarded more. It just would make the game would just push. I just want to see people just kamikaze. I want to see that action. Like, I don't know how everyone else feels, but watching these like build-offs when the storm is on its is closing and it's about to completely close out, I don't know, it just doesn't do it for me. I would much rather see people going for the kills. Alright, so let's pull up our rankings. Let's see how relevant. So, here are our top 10 in the North American. Now, North America has 4 weeks. Europe has 3. So, there will be a little bit of different stuff going on here. But North America, we got Not Vivid coming in first. He's got 2 wins, week 1 and week 4. Chap from Liquid coming in at 250, tied with Zate, Energy Zate for 250. Poach. Liquid just basically dominated him. We got him in 2nd, 4th, and 5th. Poach and 72 Hours. And then Tifu and Cloak coming in next at 6th and 7th. And I Am Merksman tied for 7th with Cloak. Reverse 2K coming in 9th. And TSM Daquan coming in at 115. So, just to break this down, if you don't understand what's happening here, this is how everyone's done over the past 4 weeks. So you get, just like it says down at the bottom, for first place you get 100 points. Second place 95, and it just drops off 5 points until if you're 21st and above, you get no points. Just like the way the skirmish is working. If you fall out of the top 20, you get $0. If you're at the top, you get 60,000. So this is our. I mean, hold on. Let me see if I have my my others. I want to look at the final. Fort. I'm trying. Yeah, here, there. There we go. So before Summer Skirmish came out, we had the Friday Night Fortnite. All right, cover my face for a second. We had Friday Night Fortnite, and the ranking. And I mean, given Friday Night Fortnite was also just, you know, it was invitations, and most of it was a lot of just fun players, and it was just trying to get a lot of views. I think that's kind of what's happening, because if you look, I mean, there's also a completely different format, so that's fair. But our rankings are completely different. The only people in the top 10 from Friday Night Fortnite is Tfue and Cloak. Tfue and Cloak were tied for 1 and 2 in the final Friday Night Fortnite rankings, which was back in July 13th. We haven't had another tournament since. And then we have Tfue and Cloak at 6 and 7. And then in the top 25, I mean, Daquan. I think Daquan's the only other one. Daquan was ranked 13th, and in Summer Skirmish, he's ranked 10th. I mean, we have, in the Friday Night Fortnite, we had King Richard in 3rd, Hamlin's in 4th, Ninja in 5th, Avery in 6th, Myth in 7th, Thief in 8th, Aimbot Calvin in 9th, and Typical Gamer in 10th, and none of those are in our top 10. So, I mean, it's a big, I mean, like I said, it's completely different. We had, we had a constant format in Friday Night Fortnite, and Summer Skirmish has been a new format every single week. We had only duos. Here we have solos and duos, and the point structure is completely different. The biggest change is probably the joint lobbies. That has been huge. I still love that. That will never get old. But I think because they do the joint lobbies, they just need to be pushed to fight more. In the Friday Night Fortnite, like, you just got to watch these professionals just pick on noobs and people who aren't nearly as good. And now with the joint lobbies, this is by no means. I mean, this is the best of the best fighting each other. And not Vivid's the best at it. Chap and Zate and Poach and 72 Hours coming in really close. So I mean, it's it changes. It's a change up, but I think that it's a better. I like all the different types, but we need to get some squads in there, focus more on kills, even more. I think they keep trying to get closer and closer and closer to focusing on kills, but it's kind of rough. Like, I don't think they fully have decided to commit, because this is definitely the most kill-centric week with the 1.4 kills. All right, let's move on to week 4 Friday, which would be our European brethren. Here we are. All right. So we're coming hot off the press here. Just got the tournament just ended a few hours ago. And I'll tell you what, one thing that's funny about EU versus NA is I feel like there's a lot of. Well, let me look at the other one. See if that's true. I guess, yeah, Hogman got taken over. Hogman was like number 1, and then but now Vivid came back. But I guess it's just fresher in my brain because it's the same day. But we had Secret Dementos closing out the victory at the very end in the final game. I mean, not like coming back and going on top of other people. And then we had the Vic as well. Vic playing just a fantastic tournament. Holding that top the throne basically the entire day. But a lot of new faces in here. And in future rankings, we'll show the movement of going up and down. Like right now, they're just these are the first rankings. There's no point in doing a ranking after a single tournament. Want to get a few weeks under our belt, and that's where we're at now. Did the same thing for Friday Night Fortnite. So we have Dementos coming in first, the Vic coming in second. Who else is big in this? I mean, that's the thing. Like the tournaments are fantastic just from the amount of skill. I do feel like the skill is a little less in Europe. It just feels that way. And we have lower scores in our rankings, but that's because they only have 3 weeks versus 4, and that's why we've increased 2 days instead of 1. Man, that's really like. Oh, I guess Razorroot has been placing. Here, let's pull up the rankings for EU and compare the two at the same time. As you can see, the Vic is our number 1 EU player at the moment. He took second today, so that'd be 95 points, but that's not his first time. He has finished in the money a couple times. Who else? We had Teaksy coming in 6th. He's our number 30, tied for 3rd. Boyer XD coming in 13th this week. He's tied for 8th. And you're going to see at the bottom, Camolorf, Imagine, and Secret Dementos. They each have a victory, but they don't have anything else. They all have 100 points and nothing else. So we had a. Oh, there we go. Yeah, let's move it off. There we go. But these are, in our first rankings, we've got the Vic coming in at 180, Vital number 2 at 160, Nyx at 145, Teaksy 145, Reflection 145, Mitro 140, 7 SSK 7 at 130, Boyer XD at 110, MZQQQ at 105, and then the 3 winners all at 100, tied for 10th. But it was like I said, another fantastic week. I really would like to see them put a little more time. I don't know what the infrastructure looks like in Fortnite, but I definitely want to see them get a little more action, a little more. Let's push those kills. Just let's see it. You have 4 more weeks. Let's try a week with one point per kill. And then you want to do a couple like bonus points for people when they break like a 5 kill threshold, or something like that. Like unless there's some squads, get the squads together. I want to see what the best players in the world can do with the 4 with 4 of them. I want to hear that communication in the Discord server. Let's hear it. I mean, right now it's like the solo tournaments are so quiet. And I think they just put so much pressure on the announcers. They make, those casters are really struggling to try to make this content interesting because, quite frankly, the players are just trying to win. And talking's not helping them winning. Talking is just, is distracting them. That would be them, like trying to participate with their chat or something like that. I mean, you can't be at your best when you're trying to, talk out loud to yourself. I mean, we had a couple celebrations here and there, but But yeah, it was another great week. We have 4 more weeks of Fortnite, and we'll have more rankings each week, and we'll see what you know what else there is. But this is like I said, this is a short week in sports. We're we're on the cusp of football starting up, so when that soon enough, we'll do a fantasy football kind of breakdown. I gotta parse some stuff. I gotta look at it. I gotta do a few drafts myself before I do the breakdown. But that's pretty much all I have. That's all I have to say uh, for this week in sports. If you have any any questions, I do appreciate you listening. Please follow, like, subscribe wherever you're at. If you're here with us on Twitch, just hit that follow button. If you're on, Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, hit that follow. Throw those 5 stars to us. If you have any questions, hit me up. I'm on Twitter, uh, at Real Sam Shannon. Best place to get your questions in. We also do a little Q&A after the Twitch stream. So please, you got questions, hit me up after the stream. I'll especially on Saturdays, I'll be here as long as you guys, like 15, 30 minutes even. Like, it just depends on how many questions you guys got. But I appreciate you listening as usual. We'll be back on Tuesday with, politics and culture. But until then, you guys have a great weekend, and peace.